Welcome, everybody, to the Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean. I am Tony.
I am Sean, and he is Jeff. I'm pointing the right way.
Jeff Cook's in the house. We are back for another week of Getaway Podcast action.
Oh, I'm turned.
Without further ado, we are going to talk about, we are jumping right to the NFL.
Getting hot.
Since we film and
son.
tape on NFL Sunday.
Oh, yeah, we watching
Sean
games.
is on one. He is ready to go. Sean,
Yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, I'm boycotting, first off, my Cowboys, because they're terrible. I'm repping the Bengals today. But since
That is terrible.
since Andy Dalton is now out of the game with a concussion, right before I hit record and started the music, I said something. Jeff said it ain't gonna happen. I didn't even say the name, and Jeff was like, he ain't gonna do it. You see that number that's behind you, Jeff? What's that number back there? Call that man Colin Kaepernick. Jerry Jones, quit playing. You're out of quarterbacks. Call that man. You got dudes taking a knee anyway now. Now's the time. Here's your chance. Everybody's embraced it. The NFL is, well, not everybody, but the NFL has embraced it, Jerry. Go on and call that man. Get him in there. He's going to play just like Dak. He's gonna have movement, right? You can still run the same offense with him. Go on and call him. You sell a bunch of jerseys.
Jerry is calling Johnny football before he calls Colin Kaepernick. And you know this.
You think he would call Johnny football before he called Colin Kaepernick?
Yes.
That's
You want to
terrible.
draft him?
That's terrible.
Or somebody off somebody's practice squad.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Paging Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Like, pull the trade.
They're out of dudes, man. They got nobody. Who's in now? I don't even know who's in now for them. Anybody know?
Mm-mm.
I have no idea. We get the Battle of Ohio here today.
Well, I got the ticket. Well, I don't have the ticket. Somebody's got the ticket, and I'm using the ticket.
Oh, splicing it. Huh?
I did splicing it. What? Is this 1989? We're splicing stuff. Who'd you say, Jeff?
Oh.
Some kid named Ben DiNucci.
Oh my God.
Speaking of that, okay, so whatever happened to the cable boxes? You know what I'm talking about?
That's a great
You
question.
know what I'm talking about, Tom?
That's a great
It's
question.
a great question. Do either of you have an
You got to
answer?
dial it.
You had to go get it. Click.
Technology.
No.
Slide it
I'm talking about the pirate cable boxes. I'm talking about the hook it up to your. Now I don't know from experience, but hook it up to your TV, get all the free stuff. Just wondering because I heard people used to use those. All of a sudden, I haven't heard about them in years.
When they used to do it, Jeff, they always go, well, I heard somebody used to.
Right.
Mhm.
I thought they were called fire sticks nowadays.
Whoa.
That might be right. Yes. I've heard of those too.
I have a fire
Yeah,
stick.
something like that.
Do you?
I do.
I have one as well.
What?
What
It's,
you
it's
do,
so I
Jeff?
can watch Amazon Prime movies on it.
Exactly. Hulu.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch that stuff too, but I watch that on my what's it called? What are those things called? Those
Roku?
sticks. Roku, yes.
It's the same
Yes.
thing. It's the same thing.
Isn't it?
So you got the boot. I mean, you got you got you got ways to
I got
watch
mine
TV.
from Best Buy.
So what's
I
that
got mine
mean?
from
I
Best
got
Buy.
mine from Best Buy too. That doesn't mean you
I pay subscriptions.
you pay subscriptions.
I pay subscriptions.
too.
It was a one-time fee to.
I pay a subscription.
It was
as
a
well.
one-time fee to who? I mean,
Oh, pay a subscription
and Jeff,
monthly.
Jeff does pay a monthly subscription.
I pay a monthly subscription.
Yeah, but
$25 a month.
tax free
$25 a month.
for all the channels.
I get a whole lot of channels for that $25.
referral code. I need a
Gotcha.
referral code.
A referral
Right.
code. Oh my God.
That's what I need. So, but anyway, back to football.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, you know what though? I don't put anything past Jerry. All I know let's talk about the Cowboys for a minute. Sean, this is your team, and I want to, all bias aside, I am starting to believe that Jerry Jones is a terrible owner.
Starting to believe what
Yeah.
you didn't realize that when he
I've
fired
always given-
one of the best coaches in the history of that franchise.
I've always given Jerry a benefit of the doubt because of his willingness to pay folks, because of his innovativeness, because of his willingness to work with other clubs on big projects and with the NFL. But I look at what he has done to the Cowboys. And when you start looking at, and I don't even remember the stat, man, because I didn't jot it down, but there was a stat that I heard on Friday, and it surrounded their ineptness in numbers of wins annually and playoff appearances and playoff wins. And they're no different than the Dolphins or the Browns, or who else was a bad team they talking about? The Bengals. Like these teams, they mirror them when it comes to those things.
Since the championship,
Since
right?
the last 20 years.
Right.
The last 20 years.
Right.
Last 2 decades.
Yeah.
And the point that was made in what, my colleague that I was listening to on Fox News or on Fox Sports, my colleague mentioned the fact that he's a great friend, he's a loyal friend, but he's a terrible owner. Let me get your opinions on that. John?
You ain't got to. What opinion you need to hear from me? He's terrible. He's terrible.
He's terrible.
Dog, you fired arguably the best coach in that franchise's history because you didn't think you were getting enough acknowledgement and respect for the wins. And as soon as he's gone, you get another one, but it's with his guys. And then after that, it's all downhill, and they haven't even come close to that level of dominance. They've been to the playoffs, but they haven't come close to that level. I mean, they were dominant. They were get on the field. Mm-hmm. They were almost to the point of roll the ball out there. As soon as we hit the field, it's over. That's how good they were on both sides of the ball. And now, because you're in the way and you won't let your coaches coach, you can't get back to that.
Well, not only that, you look at where he's putting the money, who he's spending the money on, man. I am Buckeye through and through. I agree. I just don't feel like that second contract with running backs ever pays off. Ever pays off. And I don't think you can give me that many examples where it has paid off. And so you gave him $90 million. Okay. You spent the money. Then you gave a receiver $100 million. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think anybody was lining up to give Amari Cooper $100 million.
No.
I don't understand where that happened. And then Jalen Smith, it's a great feel-good story. I know he's one of your guys, and I love the fact that he got healthy. But at the end of the day, you paid him because you felt like you had to pay somebody instead of Dak. And then you give DeMarcus Lawrence the kind of money, and he's nowhere to be found at this point.
Yeah.
He's just happy to get his money.
Right.
He is irresponsible fiscally.
Yeah. Fiscally irresponsible. But the problem, Jason Garrett is not a bad coach.
Not at all.
If Jason Garrett is there, this isn't happening to them. Right? So the problem, and I don't know who it was up to. Was it up to Jerry? Was it up to McCarthy? But the problem is they let go of Marinelli defensively. And now you're in the middle, you're in midstream switching schemes, and you haven't turned over the personnel. That's the problem defensively. They went from see-ball, run, hit ball, to now it's read, react, right? I'm going to punch man, hold my gap, and then find the ball, and then go. Well, before it was, all right, this is my gap, I'm gone, I'm going to make the play. Now it's catch, and they don't have the guys to do that. Those 2 D tackles are terrible. They don't have the guys to hold up to a double team, and now Jalen gets washed up because they're getting double teamed back. He can't move laterally because the D tackles are in the way.
You've got 2 linebackers injured, and Sean Lee and Vander Esch. Is that how you say his name?
Vander Esch is back. He played last week.
You've got them. What's that?
He's back. He played.
They've
last
been battling
week.
injuries, but they've been battling.
Well, he had a broken collarbone. He broke his collarbone in the first game. He's back.
So
he played
that
last week. They're terrible.
So you got that. defensive line is inept. I think that the only bright spot so far that I've seen when they used to put their games on prime time prior to the ineptness that has been the last few weeks
Yeah.
was Alden Smith. Alden Smith, the man making probably league minimum, getting his last chance, last chance
Yeah.
opportunity
Yeah.
with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Secondary's terrible. I'll
Yep.
be honest. First thing I look at on my fantasy team to play when it comes to receivers is who's playing Dallas.
Right. Well, you know
Who's playing
why
Dallas?
the secondary is bad? Because they can't get pressure because they're up there holding blocks instead of going to get ball. That pass rush, that front seven made up for the sloppy. The secondary's been bad for a long time, but when they were still a good defense, it was because the front four could bring pressure without blitzing. They didn't have to
So
blitz.
why do you go get McCarthy? Why do you go get McCarthy?
Because why do
thought
you
he
get
was
rid of
an
Garrett?
offensive mind, man.
Yeah.
They thought he was. It's one of those things where you benefit from your players. McCarthy benefited from the love of having Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers can make anybody make most coaches look great because he can make plays.
Right.
So he wrote that notoriety, that popularity, that success of Aaron Rodgers. I won't say that it didn't have anything to do with the coaching in general, to some degree, but Aaron Rodgers, you don't have it. I mean, you lose Dak, you don't have who's there to back him up.
And don't get it twisted.
The label I've heard tossed around.
Don't get it twisted.
Label I've heard tossed around is dinosaur.
Well, I get it, but Dak isn't. I'm not Dak. Zeke isn't the problem. I know you started hot with the second contract, but if they're not behind 14 in the first quarter and they have to rely on Dak, then Deke still gets off. Because when Deke gets off, he still gets off. I mean, he had 2 fumbles and cost them early last week, but that rarely happens for him. But Deke still can go. He can still bang you for 10. He can still hit long runs. He's still good he's still good. He's still their guy. If you don't have him, I don't know if Dak can get off as much as there's the threat of the run with Zeke is a problem. And I think they go hand in hand. You got to pay Dak, but I don't think Zeke is the problem. I think losing your center to retirement.
I'm not saying it's the problem, but I don't.
You're just talking about salary.
I don't think that sort of contract ever pays off.
But okay. But what I'm saying is, you lose your center to the retirement. You lose your left tackle to injury. Mm-hmm. You lose Martin got hurt last week, right? I mean, it's a mess up front, and then you lose your starting quarterback. Hey, Colin Kaepernick. Bring in Colin Kaepernick, man. Dang. Just do it. Now's the time.
It's too much pride, though. He'd have to swallow so much pride, man, to do that. That ain't gonna happen. Too prideful. Just like I said, think about it. Just what you said. He fired probably, I was not happy when they let go, move past Tom Landry to bring in Jimmy Johnson the way that they did it, because that hurt. That was just like, dude, really?
Us real Cowboys fans were bothered by that, right?
You just kicked the most successful coach you had to the curb for what?
The only coach you had.
Disgraced him in a way, and almost disgracefully.
Yeah. I still remember the black and white.
Who does turn the franchise around.
Right.
Does what he needs to do.
And
then because you have to play second fiddle to the coach that's turning your franchise around, making you this money.
You got sloppy drunk. You got sloppy drunk and couldn't hold your tongue. You couldn't hold your liquor and you couldn't hold your tongue. Right?
Then he bring in what? Barry Switzer? Slipped one in with him. Again, riding coattails of the success of the players that were there under Jimmy Johnson.
They made no significant changes under Switzer. That's right.
But then that ran out, and you get exposed
and then they got Chan Gailey and all these other dudes that were all screwed up, and then Bill Parcells comes in and you make a run.
Yeah.
And then Romo happens.
And he breaks his back, break a bone in your back, and then Dak, and then it was still a good run.
But even with Parcells, it was an ego issue because he couldn't stand the fact that Parcells was probably getting more acknowledgement.
You let me cook the dinner, you let me buy the groceries, right?
That's right. So, here's a scoring alert. The Browns have just went up 31-27 against the Bengals. This has went back and forth. This has actually been a very entertaining game. Once you get past the first couple series and possessions where it was turnover.
The Battle of Ohio.
But It's actually, Odell Beckham goes down in the first drive with
Yeah.
a knee injury, which I hate to question injuries. I just don't think he wants to play there anymore. I don't think he wants to play with Mayfield anymore.
You think? Wait a minute. You think he is feigning an injury to
I would
not
never
play
say somebody's feigning an
to,
injury.
to
All I know
to
is
not play against the
the
Bengals?
way he grabbed both of his legs. I don't know. I usually don't see that when it's a knee injury the way he did it. But hey, I hope I don't hope he's hurt.
Let me tell you
I just
something.
hope recovery. That's all I'll say.
I've seen a lot of injuries, and I've seen a lot of guys react differently to different injuries. When Dak broke his ankle and they had that thing sitting cockeyed, he was just sitting there like, He was like, can somebody come get this? He wasn't rolling around on the ground. You look at Waddle, who got hurt in Alabama game. Yeah, he was like, okay, he fractured it, and then your boy. Don't get me started on what Saban said. Do you hear what Saban said about that?
Yeah, man, talking about he should have stayed in the end zone, shouldn't have ran ball out.
You usually don't run balls out that deep. Like it was his fault. This kid's playing during a pandemic, and you want to talk about you usually don't run the ball out. Come on, Nick. Yeah. It's true, but you don't have to say it. That's kind of like that line about Biden. Yeah. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Yeah, it's true, but you don't have to say it.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just gonna hit this button here real quick. Let's see if I can get it to work, man. I don't know. It's not working. My hotkeys don't work no more. Hey, this is the Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean. Playoff. And I just want to say, go to the YouTube page and subscribe. Like, share, comment. Share it with your friends, all that good stuff. Look at this. Look what I'm doing here. I'm dragging stuff around.
Share it again. Again and again.
It's a mess. High school football, Tom, go ahead. Do your thing.
High school football playoffs in full effect.
Yeah.
For the ones that can still play. One thing we saw here in our area, I don't know how much you're doing with it, because you're not playing over there, are you, in Illinois, Jeff?
Nope, not till spring.
Not playing. And Sean, are you all playing out there in California?
Nope, not until spring.
Okay, so we're doing it, but unfortunately, we are starting to see some teams succumb to the Corona curse, if you will. Some of these teams, one of the last ones to deal with it over the weekend or last week, end of the week, would be Northmont, undefeated Northmont. I believe number 1 seed, out of the playoffs.
Oh,
out of the playoffs.
I didn't
Corona.
Hear that.
Yes. So were not. I believe they were number 1 seed. They were high seed. They were high seed regardless, and they are done. So definitely feel bad for those kids, those coaches, and that community. You hate to see that,
right?
But we're seeing more of it. We're seeing more schools that are getting hit. Our numbers here are going up for sure. I don't know how they're going everywhere else, but talking to some athletic directors, I don't think that the state is going to come in and shut things down, but it seems like they're going to leave it to the local health departments. So we'll see, with the winter right around the corner, with football still going down the stretch, basketball, wrestling, swimming, all the winter sports. Very uncertain as to how that's going to work, but unfortunate for the kids for sure.
Well, yeah. We figured it was what happened at some point in time.
I figured it would be more widespread. It's been less than what I think we expected.
And that means they've done a good job of following protocol.
Right. Anytime it's happening, man, it obviously, we talked about last year in the spring when the kids ended up not being able to play and just, kind of taking that away.
Right.
Try starting, getting all the way through, earning a spot on something that you hadn't done before, or simply making a run in these tough times, and all of a sudden you get the call on Thursday night, hey, we're not playing tomorrow, we're done.
And they're loaded too. They got a wide receiver going to Michigan or something. They're loaded.
I think they got a tough quarterback too. I think the quarterback was a transfer, a D1 kid transfer in from Greenon. If I remember correctly.
That's right. And he's like the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the state. Speaking
of quarterbacks, let's talk about this. Cam Fancher from Wayne High School. Cam Fancher has declared to Marshall. Heard.
What's up?
Recruited as a quarterback.
Cam. Oh, Cam.
Applause. Yes.
Cam. Cam. I'm happy for
Very
him.
excited for Cam and his family. Great kid, works hard, carries himself the right way, man. So it's great to see that. I know Cam had gotten a number of offers. I think that was, obviously D1, obviously wanting to play quarterback,
Yeah.
and it just all worked out for the best. So
Cam.
congratulations,
Congratulations,
congratulations.
Cam. Hey, Jermaine, I need my shirt and my hat. Somebody caught me a hat and a shirt.
Oh, I'm working on that.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
working on
That's what's up.
that. So, all right, Stebbins Indians went
Yeah.
down to LaSalle on Friday, and although it was not what we had hoped for as far as a result, it was still a culmination from of a great season through all the trials and
Yes, it
tribulations and
was a
all
great
the
season. Yes.
challenges. So let's get some claps on
Some
that.
claps.
Some claps on that.
Out of
All
faith.
right.
Indians.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
There you
So
go, fellas.
definitely something to build on, and proud of those kids, and once again that community embraced that group, so that was really good to see. Good to see.
Man. I look. I don't care what the result was going to be. It could have been 200 to nothing. I don't care.
Right.
It's a great experience, and I'm not just saying to experience it. I'm saying for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's those extra practices and then actual competition and having to play in a playoff game. I know there are other teams that are still playing. I don't know how that's worked out. Like I know teams that have been bounced from the playoffs. They played another game. I don't know if they were postponed in their makeup games or whatever. But it's the whole experience of going through a bye week of prepping for a playoff game, playing a playoff game, prepping again for the third round and playing a playoff game. And then if you lose, you lose. But guess what? You know what you learn? You learn that the team that you face that put you out, that's how they prepare. You see how they play. They were big. They looked like a D1 school. I watched the game. They were big. Our big guys look small compared to them. And we don't have a lot of big guys. There's a D tackle on our team. He's a strong guy, weight guy. The D end is a big guy, and when we lined up, and I was like, oh, I told Ava, I said, oh, they're big. So you can see it. LaSalle, they're a parochial school.
Yes, they're part of that GCL.
Okay, so
GCL South.
You know how it is.
Catholic League.
You know how it is, Jeff. You get to pick and choose some of the guys that come to the squad. You can do a little recruiting and whatnot. Hey,
come on.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Hey, come over here. We'll cover your tuition. I'm playing.
I'm not saying all that.
I'm playing.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this. Working down in Cincinnati, I've gotten a little more of an education as to how that stuff is down there.
Right.
And I didn't know any of that, man. We're from Riverside, man, Mad River.
Right.
I didn't pay attention to that. But when you look at that league, the GCL, when you're looking at Moeller and you're looking at LaSalle and you're looking at Elder and you're looking at St. X,
it's different.
That's a man, oh man.
It's different.
That is a meat grinder of a league. Yeah. So St. X still playing. St. X and Elder was postponed Friday night because of the weather. They ended up playing on Saturday, and St. X thumped them 50-something to not a lot. And St. X is just rolling, man. I tell you what, Sean, what was the way you described them when we watched them earlier in the year? I believe it was Brownsburg, watching that game on TV. He's like, they all look the same. You can tell they all been in the weight room.
Yep.
They all look the same.
Yep.
And they just grind on you, man. So
big, fast, tall, they're everything, man. It's like a bunch of kids that are almost ready for college. You know how you get to college, Jeff, and you're a freshman and you just show up and you got this freshman body, and then you get there and you get into the weight room for one season, your body's changed. And that's how these guys look. When you watch them, it's like, oh, wait a minute. They've been in the weight room for a while. So they are college ready guys when you watch them. Yeah. It reminds me of the year that we, for whatever reason, we scheduled Lakota West. And the first thing that I thought because they look like Wisconsin. Their colors are white and red. They got the W like Wisconsin, right? And we show up, we get down there, and their guys are walking out 2 by 2, and we're warming up on the sideline. And so we got guys in line to get ready to go, in line next to warm up. Oh, look at this. That's a fine. That's 50 cents, Jeff. So they're so their linemen are coming out, right? And I watched one of their linemen pick one of our guys up by the arms and move him to the side so they could walk through. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be a long night. And some of the hits we took looked like movie hits. You know, guys running and he gets hit and he spins in the air. We weren't taking hits like that. It was crazy. So when you talk Elder and all those schools down there in the Cincinnati area, that's how those teams look, man. When you roll in there and you're a little undersized, that's how it looks.
Definitely congrats to Coach Speck down there at St. X. He's got those kids rolling.
Yeah, congrats.
And I'll tell you what, I don't want to jinx anything, but
we'll give them applause.
I'll give them right now.
Claps.
Yes, give them the applause. For sure. All right, so NBA is talking about coming back before Christmas. Is that too quick? Too soon? What do you think?
You know what? I thought about this the other day when I saw that too. I said there's going to be a lot of those soft tissue injuries because you come back, you don't get enough time to recover. Especially the teams that went deep into the playoffs. So I could see a lot of load management happening with some of the stars and some of the older players. But is it too soon? Not for me. Not in a pandemic. Not for the fan. Not for the fan. They get paid enough. Come on, hey, stretch it out, right? Keep it loose. Get in the hot tub. Get you some massages and whatnot. And be ready to go. Entertain me, son.
Spend some of that NBA money like LeBron does. Spend some of that money.
That's right. Invest in yourself.
On body maintenance. Right.
Entertain me, son.
That is right. Hey, college football. College football is all intents and purposes.
We are all back. We are all back, right?
All
back. Well, all our teams are back. All our teams are back.
Our teams are back.
I sent a text to the group yesterday, right? We need to do a live pod where we're watching one of our games. It doesn't have to be all three of them because it's a long day.
True.
Fire up the Discord, watch a game, and then you can get live reaction of me cussing out Brian Kelly or Ian Book. Huh?
Have to be that after hours.
Let's do it.
That BET uncut version.
Now, Jeff, I gotta ask you. How did your team do yesterday?
Oh, Jeff,
they did all right, man. You know what? Quarterback play is still developing. The kid they got, he's a big kid, got a strong arm. He played.
He's a runner. He's a runner.
But he played smart though.
So how'd y'all do?
We won. 49.
That's setting you up, Jeff.
The reason I'm asking.
He's setting you up.
Yes,
I'm asking.
Listen, come on. I saw y'all game. Y'all started off kind of slow.
But that's not the reason I'm asking is because I really only paid attention to the top 10.
That's accurate.
I didn't know what was happening outside with the outliers.
Well, y'all still started off. Y'all almost found out though. Y'all started off real slow though. But y'all look good.
That is some elitist.
Y'all look good.
That is some elitist crap I just heard. I don't watch the outliers. That is.
Hey, I will say this. Y'all look good. Y'all receivers. Fields is the truth. I'm worried about y'all running back position though. I'm hoping it'll probably develop over the course of the year, but y'all replacing Dobbins, man, it's gonna be huge.
You see them trying to find a guy during the game, right?
Yeah. But I mean, that's no shade. That's just being for real. Y'all look good, but that running back position, y'all look.
They're not great. They're not great at the D tackle spot either. Up the middle, they weren't great. I watched the game and I watched Nebraska do things to them that teams normally don't do to that defense.
You haven't seen, yeah.
It's been a long time since you've seen. If it's Clemson, it's one thing, but you don't see second tier teams do that to that defense. You haven't in a while. And I know they got Coach Coombs back and they're doing some different things and they're trying to figure some things out, but you don't have a Bowling Green and all that stuff to get this all worked out again. So that could be part of what it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And the other thing
it is. I think we've seen a lot of teams go through that, though, right?
Clemson didn't. Clemson's the only team that hasn't really gone through that. Bama's going through it.
Here's one thing that they mentioned, like that I was watching while I was watching the Michigan game.
You getting mad at me for? What'd I say?
They were showing just the number of players that either they lost through the draft or players that opted out.
I saw it.
You know, and so you're seeing the impact of that piece too.
Yeah.
So not so much just the players that went to the draft, but the players that opted out not to play. Although I didn't feel. Did y'all have a number of players that opted out, Tone, or no?
No, we opted out. And we came right back.
Okay.
Yeah, that tackle, he came back.
I think
Also,
we
Jeff,
lost
Sean, the reason why
your
I gave you
squad
that
had
look,
the benefit of,
the reason why I gave you that look.
your squad had the benefit of about 2 linemen and some specialists having COVID. Also, that's why they were having problems with Minnesota.
Well,
That's why they're having problems with the kicking game. They didn't say it, but he alluded to it at the end of the game. Like, we got some guys that are out for whatever reason. He didn't say it specifically, but there's like a handful of guys that were missing because of coronavirus.
You talking about Michigan's team?
John,
Minnesota.
you brought up.
Minnesota, yeah.
John, you brought up not Clemson. Like, you don't see Clemson dealing with that, but we all don't have the benefit of playing in the ACC. Okay,
We talked about this.
I'm just saying.
We talked
I'm just
about
saying.
this. So wait, you're saying Nebraska's better than anybody that Clemson's already played?
Nebraska would beat a number of the people in the ACC.
Who? I mean,
Number of the people in the ACC.
If they came to the
not
ACC,
both, no.
first off, if they came to the ACC, they would be at the bottom of the ACC, just like they're at the bottom of the Big Ten. What are you talking about? You crazy?
John, listen.
Come on, man.
I'm not taking anything away from Notre Dame.
Name the bottom of the ACC.
I mean, Jesus.
Name them. Who's in the bottom of the ACC?
Vandy.
Sean.
Let me tell you something. Vandy defensively.
Vandy's SEC.
Are they? Are you sure?
Yeah, bro.
My bad.
Yeah,
Hold on.
SEC.
Wake Forest. I got my colors wrong. It's the same colors. Wake Forest. They might be towards the bottom of the ACC. Florida State's at the bottom.
Now, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like it's just trash. NC State, North Carolina, Syracuse, who fought Clemson for a half yesterday. Pitt. I mean, who is just trash? Like Rutgers, even though they got a doubler yesterday.
Rutgers got it done.
Historically, who's like really, really bad in that conference? Miami?
Historically?
No. Yeah.
Historically, you would have Wake.
Virginia?
You would have Duke. Duke is off and on, but bottom tier.
Right.
Carolina.
Let me ask you this: Would Duke play Nebraska tough if they played next week?
Right now?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think they would.
Think?
I think they would.
Okay. Look, man.
Put it up.
And I got a friend who coaches at Northwestern.
Mm-hmm.
One of my former teammates when we were at Butler.
Okay.
And shout outs to them. His name is Dennis Springer. Northwestern put the
shout
thump
out
in.
Coach Springer.
43-3, I believe the final score was.
Against who?
Who'd they play last night? Maryland, the Terps.
Oh my God!
So,
they're
yeah,
not
man.
in the ACC.
Who's that? Maryland?
They're not in the ACC.
Lead the charge in Maryland.
They're not in the ACC.
No, Maryland's not in the ACC. They're Big Ten.
And Michigan State got thumped by Rutgers.
Michigan State had a lot of turnovers.
I don't care.
Well,
they were, again, that was one of
those it's still Rutgers. What, Tom?
It is, but it's still 7 turnovers in that game. You can't. Nobody's gonna win with that.
They both have new coaches, and it's Rutgers.
Greg Schiano's not a new coach. He's been in Rutgers before.
But it's his first year back. Those ain't his kids. Those not his guys. What's the rule? Get 3 years to get your guys in, right?
We'll see next week how they do. I think they caught Michigan State at the right time.
It's not me attacking Rutgers. It's me attacking Michigan State, who is one of the flagship teams in the Big Ten.
They got caught at the right time.
Not anymore. Not right now.
Not anymore. What?
Not right now.
Talking about?
Not right now.
Come on, man.
There are reasons why Luke Fickell turned down going to Michigan State and staying at the University of Cincinnati.
Because he's an experienced dude. Now this isn't a guy who's looking, right. He's aware of what's in the cupboard at Cincinnati, and you look at the word was, okay, the cupboard is bare at Michigan State, and then 2, with all that harassment stuff that's going on in lawsuits and whatnot, that's why people weren't going there. It would take a brother to take the job. He wanted that job. He wanted to come back to the Big Ten and get his, face kicked in. He wants, Pee Wee teams to pull out scripts and run it up on them, run the clock, like Tony's Wee Warriors,
who's now getting ready after a bye week for Northmont. Okay, next Saturday, number 2 seed.
Still don't know who the
And
bottom of the ACC
yes, I will
is.
have the script ready. I will have the script ready. Let me tell you something. I'll be honest with you. As far as the ACC is concerned, no disrespect. It was Clemson, and now it's Clemson and Notre Dame. I don't care who else is in the league. Everybody knows it. Everybody plans on it every year. They already know who it's going to be. There's no question marks going into the season or coming out. Okay, to me, and listen, I'm not dogging Clemson, because Clemson, Dabo Swinney has done a great job. He has recruited, he has built a powerhouse program. But the reality of it is, nobody threatens Clemson in that league, and nobody's going to threaten, Notre Dame this year while they're, joining the pack for a season. Okay, the reality of it is, man, as a Power 5, it is a bad conference.
Is it really?
In my opinion.
Is
my
it really?
opinion.
Because
right now they got a number of teams ranked right now. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah,
they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You know what? Who's paying
17
attention to the rankings right now with everything going on and with teams not playing, teams missing, some teams just getting started? Give me like 3 weeks and then let's talk rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at the facts as they are right now.
So
they got
so
6.
when he makes a good point, about the conference, and then you say it ain't right. A proponent of the Big Ten says they got these ranked teams, and you want to disqualify it because ain't nobody else playing.
So let me qualify that statement, and since you don't try to run with it, because I would say the same thing about the SEC. The SEC always has a ton of teams, but that's that argument: who's better, Big Ten versus SEC? ACC is trying to get into that argument.
Yeah.
You take Clemson out of the ACC, it's not a discussion.
Penn State.
Even with Notre Dame in it.
Penn State.
None.
You take Clemson away from it.
The number 8 ranked team in the Big Ten lost to Indiana. What are we talking about? It shouldn't even been close. The number 8 ranked team, since you don't want to count the rankings, but I'm going to count them, the number 8 ranked team in the country lost to the Hoosiers.
So,
and this ain't basketball season either.
But just like I say about the debate, yelling don't make you right.
It does make me right. It does make me right.
Calm it down a little bit. We got rules and regulations.
It does make me right. No, the rule is we do what we want, when we want. We talk about what we want and how we want it on this podcast, and I just let you two jokers have it. Number 8 lost on the road. Hold on. Let me say it gently for the people who are triggered. Number 8 lost to Indiana. Does that make you better?
John, that is much better. Let me tell you something.
Stupid.
Jeff, do you know how to handle the IT, all of the production and IT work of this thing?
No, he doesn't.
Look here.
No, he doesn't.
And neither do I. So you're going to need to hold that blood pressure down.
IU would beat Pitt. IU would beat Virginia. IU would beat Wake Forest.
Would? Is that what you said, would? Did you say would?
They would beat
Hold
Syracuse.
On. Keep going. Because this is going down in perpetuity. And I'm going to come back. We're going to play this again later on in the season when they start losing.
Wait. When we get into bowl season.
When they start losing, we're going to play this.
Let's see how the ACC Big Ten show out in a bowl.
All right, Mr. Big Stuff. Y'all playing him next week. Be careful. Be careful, because I will be riding if you lose to Indiana. We're gonna play Indiana next week. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna be like a little kid. I'm gonna be on this mug 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning, waiting on you. Fully dressed.
We got Michigan State next week.
Huh? You ever hear them stories about the football players that were intimidating the other team? They be sitting out the locker room fully dressed, taped up, ready to go as the team got off the bus. That's going to be me next week if you lose to Indiana. I'm going to have eye black on. I'm going to be ready to go.
I don't even know if
he'll give you 1-2 good plays.
I got 2 plays. I used to have 3. I got 2. The Hoosiers, Jeff. The Hoosiers. And you're number 18 in the country. And they just beat number 8, so they're full of confidence. They got a mobile quarterback. They got some receivers that can catch the ball, get open. They play good, sound defense, and it's in Indiana. Be careful.
IU being solid is a testament to the strength of our conference, Sean. You're doing nothing but helping our argument.
So now you're bragging on the Hoosiers being good in football. This is what we talk about now. Woo! I love it. I love it talking to Big Ten people, man. Where's Bill Baglio at? You want to chime in too, Bill? My gosh. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean. Special guest Jeff and friend Jeff Cooks is in the building. Subscribe, like, share, comment to the YouTube page. You know what to do. Oh my gosh.
All right.
All right. Get me all fired up for nothing over here.
All right, so you're over here perspiring. I see the little dark blue underneath the armpits right now, man.
I got a little
Calm
butter
down.
going. I got a little butter going.
Calm down. Look, you're glistening.
And look, we ain't even a chance to talk about. All we talk about is your boys and your boys. My boys thumped Pitt like they were supposed to. I was complaining about them, right? I was banging the table. See, I'm hard on my team. Tony, how many times have I said on this podcast they're not ranked number 5? They're not ranked number 3. They shouldn't be that good. Yesterday they came out. Right. They came out and finally threw the ball. I guess Coach Kelly had to talk with Ian Book like, look, quit holding the ball, quit being so conservative. If it's there and our rules apply, let it go. And he did it yesterday, and they put it on like they were supposed to. Now they got to keep building on that in order for me to believe that they are number 3. I don't think they're number 3.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either. But hey, you go where they put you.
That's right.
You play who they schedule you.
That's it.
And at the end, but here's what I'll say. Okay. Well, you can talk about the Big Ten schedule not being strong, the conference not being strong. The reality of it is an unbeaten Ohio State gets into the top 4 at the end.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Does an unbeaten Ohio State, however, bump out, say, a Notre Dame, no losses? Because the reality of it is,
say it again.
You're going to get, does an unbeaten Ohio State knock out an unbeaten Notre Dame? Well, the top 4.
It depends on who else is unbeaten.
Well, I don't think, not necessarily, because that's going to be my second part of my argument. You don't think a 1-loss Alabama doesn't squeak in?
Oh, they could absolutely squeak in, but who else is getting in? So you're saying 2 SEC, an Ohio State, and then Notre Dame. Who else is getting in?
Now, do you all play Clemson this year?
Yeah, we play them on November 7th.
Okay,
South
so
Bend.
A 1-loss.
So Trevor Lawrence, surfs up, dude. Come get some of this snow.
A 1-loss Notre Dame is not even in the conversation, right?
Could be since they're in the conference. Could be since they're in the conference because they could take the loss and then play them in the championship game and get the dub.
So did they take? So they're not. Is ACC splitting? They're splitting divisions, right?
They're playing a round robin. I thought. No, they're splitting divisions. They're splitting divisions. Yeah.
So which side is
I have no. No, I don't know.
I don't remember.
No, they're not split. They're not split this year.
So they essentially would just take the top 2 into the conference champion?
I think so. I think so.
So we all trying to look.
This is bad potting.
I feel like they're
sorry, folks.
I feel like they're in divisions, but I could be
They
wrong.
were. There's a Coastal and an Atlantic, but for this year when they added Notre Dame, I think they did away with it. I can't remember.
Dead space. That's not good.
Yeah.
All I know is we're going to have great conversations going down the stretch on the playoffs and how it's going to work this year. So
I think with the season,
we are almost. Go ahead.
I was going to say with the season being abbreviated, especially I think with them trying to work in the Big Ten the way that they did, somebody's gonna get bounced out of there. It's gonna be one of those controversial seasons when it comes to the playoffs.
So
Because you're gonna get one of the situations where you don't have a 9-game season for the Big Ten, 10 games maybe at most, and conference champions don't get in.
So there is going to be a conference championship. It's a round robin. They're going to take the top two teams.
Okay.
So it could be a situation where Notre Dame, Clemson play each other. Whoever loses, and then they play each other again.
So, but unfortunately, I really believe that however that works out, the ACC is not sending two.
No.
Not if there's an unbeaten Big Ten. And the reality of it is we already know what it means to the playoffs to have two SEC teams, if at all possible, down the stretch.
That's true.
This would be the, Dan Patrick made a great point. This would have been the year to have 8 teams.
Would have
been the year. Would have been the year that would have helped athletic programs financially that are taking such huge hits this year.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. But the problem is you couldn't just do it one year and be done. And that would be the issue we run into, because the reality of it is it would be a success. You've got more programs playing.
Yeah.
Everybody would be happy and grateful and thankful.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that nobody thought about that.
They did.
And look to try to push that agenda. Yeah, but that, to me, if it's about the money, and it always is, that's an agenda that could have been pushed.
It was thought about. It had to be thought about. There's people way smarter
but
than
it
us
wasn't
thinking about
discussed.
this.
We didn't hear. Those are the kind of things, though, that we typically hear.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you that. You think,
I feel like
you think the NCAA, who really doesn't want to do that, is going to release that they've talked about it? No, I
don't think the NCAA has much to do with it anyway at this point.
Well, that's a good point, because guess what? During this whole thing, the schools had all the power. The conferences themselves had all the power over the NCAA. They could have done whatever they wanted. If and like I said it on the pod, what's to stop Ohio State from getting on a plane and playing in the SEC? Or playing in some of these conferences that were playing football when the Big Ten didn't want to play. Who's going to stop them is what I'm saying. If the NCAA is the actual schools, who's going to stop them? Who in the Big Ten is going to punish Ohio State if they wanted to play the ACC and the SEC and get some games in? Nobody.
That's very true.
So they could do the 8-game playoff. And then it would be successful. And then you would have this whole thing. It would be like March Madness, but it would be for football.
I agree.
I would love that.
I agree. Missed opportunity, I think.
Yeah.
But, oh well. We're going to make the best of it because we've got football. We have got football. So we were supposed to go to an NFL game this year, Colts and Ravens, in November. We had bought the tickets. We actually got an email saying that they were canceling the tickets, refunding the money, and that once tickets went on sale, if they, were going to sell them, we'd have an opportunity. Had an opportunity to buy them. We didn't buy more tickets. We just decided, hey, we'll watch it on TV. So that was a little disappointing, but the more we watch TV from week to week, the games, the more we're starting to see more people in the stands.
Yeah.
Do you feel like by the end of the season, we will be closer back to normal, or pretty much what we're seeing right now is probably as good as it's going to get?
I have no idea. Everything I say is wrong. Even though it's right, we wind up doing the opposite. Like when they say this is going to get worse, this whole pandemic and this virus, the spread is going to get worse as we see the numbers go up to greater daily instances where people are getting infected with the virus. But things are opening up anyway. So I don't know how do you do that? How do you open it up and then at the same time people are getting sick? It's weird. So I don't know if I'll ever be right. I have no idea what's going to happen. They're saying this winter is going to be the worst because you start adding in flu, and then so if you have the flu, you can still get the coronavirus, and does that mean an instant coma? What happens if you're already sick and you get that virus, which attacks your lungs and all that other stuff? What happens to you? That's the thing. You guys get your flu shots? I got my flu shot.
Got my flu shot on Friday.
There you go.
First time ever.
I the only time I've had flu shots was during the time when my kids were born.
Yeah.
And I did them then.
Yeah.
I'm not a big proponent of them. I've never really, the times I have got it, and never had the symptoms per se.
Right.
I just,
well, they're saying
just haven't done.
They're saying this is the year to do it with the virus out there because the combination of this could be pretty bad for you.
So I might break down and do it this year.
Yeah.
I have never done the flu shot until this year. I typically don't get the flu.
Mm-mm.
I had the flu pretty bad a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe close to it. But my wife talked me into it this year. She
Good.
gets it every year. My
She's
son
smart.
gets it every year. So hopefully, hopefully we'll stay healthy this year. We're just gonna mask it up, try to stay out the way when we can.
Yeah.
Don't shake a lot of hands. Wash our hands, and try to do things the right way.
Yeah.
How we do it. Election's almost here. I'm not gonna get too far deep into it, man, because I know we're about done here, wrapping it up. I will say this: whenever I see political commercials come on the air, I just mute them, man.
Yeah.
I can't take the constant just insults to intelligent, my intelligence on that screen. Gosh,
I ain't worried about it.
I think there should be a law against saying false things on political commercials. I think there should be a law.
The law should be against those being allowed to vote that fall for it. My whole thing is like,
why are you voting? I saw this commercial.
If you don't sit up here and say this man he's handled the virus, this whole situation better than anybody else could have ever. And everything points to the fact, like there are proven facts that he knew about it, did nothing about it when it first came out,
and was concerned about it, right?
Everything he has said about this
I told him slow down the testing. Don't test so much.
That's why we have more. That's why we have more positive tests, because we test more. What?
That statement in itself, man, is just like somebody sat there when he said it and went, yeah, that's right. If we weren't testing it, we would not have this.
Keep saying that. Keep saying that stuff. Hey, also tell them you're Abraham Lincoln. Go on and tell them you're better than Abraham Lincoln for the colors. I've done more for the colors.
I've done more for the blacks. He's done more for the blacks than any other president ever.
The one I saw today, and it was about the raising taxes on middle class. And what was it, Sean? Sean, give us the meme. Give us the meme.
What is the meme
that we saw out here today?
I don't know what I saw.
Meme. Remember when we're talking about raising taxes and who it's really going to affect if the Democrats are in power? It's going to affect the poor. Go ahead, Sean.
It's the meme where he says we're going to raise taxes on people who make $400,000 or more, and the result was my high school. The person I went to high school with, who makes $37,000 a year, and he was like irate,
losing their mind,
out of it. Rising taxes on what? Dude, you make 37 grand. It's not going to affect you.
Right, so,
some of this is going to benefit you.
Here's a real question that I have, and Jeff, maybe you can help me with this. Sean, maybe you can help me with this. Middle class is defined as what? Like up to what?
Oh, the number
is it up to like 450,000?
No,
I think it's around 250.
I think so. That's like
basically
that's like upper middle.
250.
But basically, there's still about a $2,000 gap between the middle class who's going to see the taxes raised if the Democrats. And see, once again, and listen, it's not a partisan thing, man. I just don't like seeing lies on commercials that are then being endorsed. Yes, and I approve this message. I don't like being lied to on television and influenced, by the people who are supposed to be the people who are above board and running the country and whatever that is. And I don't like seeing it in other ones either, man. It's not just the presidential ones. There's, I don't think they should be able to lie. I think we need fact checkers before the commercials can go on the air. That's what I think.
Well, it's kind of like what Facebook and Twitter are doing.
Yeah.
Taking them off.
Hey, if it's a lie, we're not. If it's a lie, we're not spreading it.
We're not going to
This is
continue
our
to show. We're
platform.
not sharing it.
This is
No.
our podcast.
Well, here's the problem, man. CBS will take the money for the advertising. NBC,
Right.
so it's all money. It's all money motivated.
Well, okay, but here's
So
what
I
I
just Googled
say:
it.
we will
So-
take your money. Good.
No, I'm just saying, I just Googled it. So the middle range, the range is 40,000, so 40,500 to 122,000 a year is what they consider to be middle class as of April 2020.
That's middle. Is there upper middle in there?
So,
No, I just did the middle. I didn't do the upper middle.
Okay.
all I know is middle class folks.
Yeah.
You're safe.
You're safe.
I just put it that way.
Hey,
Yeah.
everybody
safe.
in the
You fall
neighborhoods
into that.
everybody
you're
in the neighborhoods that we grew up in, you're safe. I'm
Safe.
just saying, you guys are good.
Right.
All right.
Well, there's a few
And I
of them that
approve
might think they're making 400,000 or 500,000 based off. They would tell you this.
It's like that joke Dave Chappelle told where he said he was standing in line to go vote, and he's standing, behind a couple of guys, white guys that are minors, and they just got off work and they're all covered in their coal and whatnot, and they're talking about Donald Trump and how much they got to support him because he's going to look out for them and he's going to take care of them. And Dave Chappelle's like, he ain't going to take care of you. He's going to take care of me because I'm rich. He don't care about you being white. He don't care about your job. He cares because you got money and they ain't got enough money. None of us ain't got enough money for him to care about us. The only thing he cares about is the green, man, and what your green can do for his green. He don't care necessarily if you're rich, but can you help him become richer? That's what he cares about. I'm the best at whatever's done. I'm the best to do anything ever. And I can't take it.
So does it bother you? Okay, so first and foremost, and once again, we don't make this a partisan show.
Yes,
okay?
we do. I do.
That's the disclaimer.
I'm playing.
But I will tell you what, in all fairness,
Yeah.
I will not cast my vote for Biden. I will not cast my vote for Hunter Biden. Okay?
I'm not voting for
So
him.
I don't need to hear any more. I don't need to hear any more
That's right.
anti-Hunter Biden stuff because I'm not voting for him.
Yeah.
And
We ain't talking
know
about
what?
Ivanka. We ain't talking about Junior.
I'm not-
We ain't
hold
talking
on,
about
hold
Eric.
on, hold on. I'm not voting for him.
Yeah.
So what I would like to know is how you all feel about our president. And if it's true, because I haven't seen where the fact checkers have disputed it, how do you feel about the president of the United States with a Chinese bank account?
Look,
Well, that did
Just
come out
ask-
in the debate. That did come out in the debate, and they said that he
No.
probably pay more taxes to China than he does to the United
that's
States.
right. And your boy Barack said if it was him, Fox News would be calling him
Beijing
Barry. because when do we cozy up? When has anybody cozied up to China and Russia the way that this guy has? No president has done that. No president has owed a foreign country, borrowed money in a foreign country. When has that been okay? We hate this country's built on hating the Russians for the most part. Cold War. There are movies and shows about the hatred between these two countries. I watched the show FBI Classified in an episode of 10 Russian spies in this country. So we're cozying up to this dude. We let him do whatever he wants, and he tries to say that he's doing all these things. Once again, he's the hardest that any other president's been on Russia, just like he's done more for the blacks, right? Just like he's the best negotiator. He's done all these things for Israel and Sudan. He ain't done nothing. What's he done? Taking credit for what? For who? I ain't. Huh? But I've already voted.
I did too.
I
Did
lied.
yesterday.
All I know is just vote. Regardless, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for.
Yeah, go vote.
Just vote. And hopefully, your voting make this thing better for all of us. Period. That's all I got to say. Just vote to make it better. Be good to people. Quit trying to dog people out for things that you hear on TV. Quit trying to dog people out because You see, and here's the beautiful thing about America, right? So what's important to me doesn't have to be necessarily important to you
Mm.
for us to coexist and respect each other and treat each other well. I don't know. I know it may sound profound, but I believe that that's the case. It's so simple. A 10-year-old understands it. But a lot of the people that I deal with, we deal with on social media or observe on social media or know from back in the day or this, that, and the other, they don't get that. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, Jeff, thank you for joining us today.
As
Again,
always, thanks for having me.
hopefully y'all keep winning so that when we do have the game, something on the line. Sean, keep doing what you're doing to those kids down there that you're doing it to. When you play somebody good, we'll have good conversation.
Don't be funny, smart guy, because guess what? After Indiana beats Michigan, guess who plays them next? The Buckeyes.
So you do realize that Indiana is not going to beat Michigan.
Put some money on it.
I really hope not.
You want to put some? You want to put some Garrett's
Come on,
on it?
We'll put some Garrett's on it.
Babe, we gonna get some
Put some Casanos on it.
Ava just clapped her hands. She was like, "Yeah, we gonna get some popcorn, baby." Woo!
We're gonna put some Casanos on it, some Casanos. But hey, thanks for joining the Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean, and special guest and friend Jeff Cooks. Everybody have a great week. We will be back again, and we may be changing the name to a sports theme because I know we do about 95% sports right now. But you just have to understand, sports is the greatest getaway.
Oh,
We are providing this platform every week. So have a good one,
changing the name.
Sean. Stay on that sunshine and tacos.
Sunshine and tacos,
Yes.
son.
Out the way.
Deep dish pizza, man. Let's get it.
Hey,
Oh,
love it.
oh. Say
All right,
word,
guys.
son.
Have a great one. Bird son.
Word, son.